50,000 years before the first pyramid ever rose from the desert, someone sat beside a fire, took a slow breath, and unknowingly changed the course of human history. They had no idea what chemicals were. They'd never heard the word addiction. All they knew was that something had just changed inside them. And whatever that feeling was, they wanted to experience it again. That single breath may have marked the beginning of humanity's oldest relationship with smoke. A story that began long before tobacco, long before farming, and long before civilization itself. Most people assume smoking started with tobacco, but history tells a much older and far more surprising story. Around 1 million years ago at Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa, Homo erectus had already learned to control fire. As the sun went down, people gathered around the flames for warmth, protection, and cooked food. And every single night, they breathed in smoke. But those fires weren't always fueled by wood alone. Many wild plants naturally contain powerful chemical compounds. When they're burned, some of those compounds are released into the air. Now picture yourself sitting beside a campfire after a long day, breathing in smoke from leaves, herbs, and branches. And then, without warning, feeling calmer, lighter. Maybe even seeing the world just a little differently. You wouldn't know what caused it. You'd only remember how it felt. Researchers believe early humans across Africa, Europe, and Asia were regularly exposed to smoke from naturally growing psychoactive plants. What's even more fascinating, our brains were already capable of responding. The human body has something called the endocannabinoid system. It helps regulate mood, memory, appetite, and many other essential functions. It didn't evolve for cannabis, but when compounds from certain plants entered the body, those receptors responded naturally. At first, it was almost certainly an accident, but accidents have a way of turning into traditions, especially when they create an experience people never forget. Finding direct evidence is incredibly difficult. Ancient pipes, baskets, leather pouches, and wooden tools usually disappear with time. Stone can survive for thousands of years. Wood almost never does. Even so, archaeologists have uncovered remarkable clues. The earliest confirmed evidence of intentional cannabis use comes from the Altai Mountains around 500 BC. Inside ancient burial sites, researchers found wooden braziers coated with cannabis residue containing unusually high levels of THC. These weren't ordinary campfires. They appear to have been carefully prepared rituals connected to death, memory, and belief. Then comes one of history's most remarkable confirmations. The Greek historian Herodotus wrote that the Scythians threw hemp onto glowing stones inside enclosed tents, filling the air with thick smoke until they, in his own words, howled with pleasure. For centuries, many historians assumed he was exaggerating. Then archaeologists uncovered the same types of braziers, the same scorched stones, and the same hemp residue. Herodotus wasn't describing a legend, he was describing something that actually happened. Tobacco followed a very different path. Before Europeans arrived, it existed only in the Americas. For thousands of years, indigenous communities treated tobacco as something sacred. It blessed ceremonies, sealed agreements, helped heal the sick, and carried prayers towards the spirit world. Then, in 2019, archaeologists uncovered wild tobacco seeds that had been carefully placed inside an ancient hearth in Utah. The site was nearly 12,000 years old, older than pottery, older than any known smoking pipe. Whether those people inhaled tobacco smoke or used the plant in another way, we still don't know. But one thing became clear. Humanity's relationship with tobacco reaches much deeper into history than anyone once imagined. Smoke wasn't only spiritual, it also became medicine. The Egyptian Ebers papyrus, written around 1550 BC, describes herbal smoke treatments for illness. Ancient Greek physicians recommended medicinal vapors. In India, Ayurvedic medicine developed carefully prepared smoke therapies using specific herbs for specific conditions. Even today, modern inhalers rely on the very same idea: deliver medicine directly to the lungs. Then history took a darker turn. After 1492, tobacco spread rapidly across the world. What had once been used with discipline, purpose, and spiritual meaning gradually became a global business. Within just a few centuries, an ancient ritual had become one of history's deadliest addictions. So, when did humans first choose to inhale smoke on purpose? The honest answer? We don't know. The oldest physical evidence takes us back nearly 12,000 years. But the instinct itself, it may be far older. Maybe it began with the very first person who stared into a fire, noticed something had changed inside their own mind, and quietly thought, I want to feel that again. Subscribe to First Fire for more true stories from humanity's ancient past.